Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see the Wipro interview experience of Triple E branch. Uh, so this is an interview experience of a student who was from Triple E branch and got selected. And in this, not only the questions that are included were asked to a single person, but like many Triple E students gave these questions. So I have included all of them in a single video, and let's see what all are the questions that were asked. So let's start with the first question now. Any technical expertise that you have. So the student has mentioned oops. So you can also do the same. Like if the interviewer asks you any technical experience do you expertise do you have, you should mention oops. And always before attending the or before sitting for the interview, just what you should do is you should prepare some basic topics of oops, like polymorphism, inheritance, abstraction, and all those things, so that you should have something. Because when you say oops in this case, so that you are giving a hint to the interviewer that that your next question will be coming from oops only. So you should prepare accordingly. So moving on to the next question. What is null pointer? Give an example. So you can see that even though the student is from non-CSE branch, the questions related to C language and uh, computer science are also asked. So just be prepared for these basic questions. And if in any case you do not know the answer for these questions, what you can say is I do not have much idea, or you can try your best whatever you know and answer accordingly. Moving on to the next question. What is exception handling? So exception handling is again a question which is there might be chances that triple student must not know. So this is the main reason of making this video, so that you should all like get aware in advance to these questions and prepare accordingly. So next question that was asked is difference between abstraction and encapsulation. So this is a question from oops. So if you have studied the basics of oops, you can easily answer these questions. Then he asked about my hobbies. So many times, even in the if the technical round is going on, like some of the HR or behavioral questions can be asked, so you have to answer accordingly. Don't give too much immature hobbies. Just give some mature hobbies that will lead a good impression. But this does not have effect much on your performance. It is just to check your fluency. They ask such kind of questions. Then he asked about my academics. So just tell about what you have done, like if you have done BTech or BC or whatever you have done, and from where you have done your schooling in college, and all those you can mention in this question. Tell me the current situation about COVID-19 in your locality. So this all these kind of questions are just to have an interaction with the student or the employee or the associate, so that they can see how much fluent is he in speaking. So that's why they are asking such kind of questions. You can easily answer in your own words. Do not hesitate, get nervous in such questions. Next is what are the phases of a project? So this is a software development life cycle question, like the requirement and so the first is requirement analysis, and then the fulfillment if the requirement gets fulfilled. So basically what SDLC that we called is software development life cycle. So even if you don't know such kind of question, just simply give the answer according to your understanding, that if a project is happening, like, so what the first step is. First of all, the requirement, we have to gather the requirement. What is the requirement? Then we need to analyze it, then we need to test it. So these are all the steps that we need to perform. So the next question is, as a project team leader, what problems you faced? So like if you have created a project during your college time and you have lead the project team, then what were the problems that you faced? So you can answer accordingly. So like was it challenging for you to manage like a team of 3 or 4 people? What were your contribution? What were their contribution? You can answer it accordingly. So what are the risk factors in a project? So what are the risk factors that you faced in your project? Some of the they will be asking you about projects, and then when you are explaining the project, then in between they can ask you these questions. What are the risk factors that you faced in your project? So you can answer them like these were the some of the challenges that we were facing while creating our project, and we took this help or that help from this source. So you can answer it accordingly. What are the trending technologies you know? So you must read some of the trending technologies like AI, ML, data science, NLP, such kind of technologies before sitting for the interview. Not too much in detail, but one paragraph answer should be good for this question. What is the date? When did you last search about any IT company? So, as mentioned, you should always say Wipro in this case, since you are giving interview for Wipro, because this will give a positive impact. And what is the date when you last search about any IT company? You should mention like yesterday only, because you will be preparing for the interview, right? So you can answer it this way. Why should I select you? You should convince them that you are the best fit for this job role. So you should say that I'm always ready to learn. I can do any task that is given to me. I can perform all the challenging tasks. I am ready to learn and grow. And in this way, you can answer this question. How will you rate yourself in Python out of 10 scale? So if you know Python language, then based on your understanding, you can rate yourself. Just know that if you don't know Python, you can simply say like I don't have much experience with this language. I have expertise in some other language. About Sdlc model, that's software development lifecycle model. What is the phases, different phases in a project? That is you can explain in this. What languages you are familiar with? So if you have understanding of more than one languages, then you can say different languages, C++, Python, or Java, JavaScript, whatever you have understanding, you can say. So but be aware that whatever the languages that you are seeing, they can have cross question on that languages. List versus tuple. This is a question from DBMS. Local and global variables. So even though the student is from Tripoli, such kinds of question can be asked. Modules in Python. So you can have since the student must have answered that he has knowledge of Python, so maybe they can ask you to say one or two modules of Python that are being used in Python. Environment variables. What are environment variables? You have to answer it accordingly. Other than Python, what technical skills are you learning? So like language is one thing, right? And even if you know Python, right, so you must always be keep on learning. So you can say like I'm learning this, I'm learning some DSA topics, I'm learning C++, I'm already knowing Python, right? So I'm trying to learn C++. So in this way you can answer this question. Moving ahead with the some of the more questions. So let's see one by one. Tell me situation when you showed leadership skills. So you can mention in this way that during my college project, I have take the leadership and prepared the project. And accordingly, if you have some other thing in mind, you can also discuss that. The next question is tell me about your management skills. How have you managed? So basically these two questions are similar only. How have you managed your project, or how have you lead the project? You can answer in the same way. Tell me how you deal with the situation when one of your teammates is not able to communicate well. So if there is no communication, if there is no well communication, then there might be problems that will arise. So you can say that I will try from my end to communicate, and if someone is facing some situation, I will try to rectify it so that the work can go on. In this way, you can answer this question. Tell me something about Wipro. So it is always better before sitting for a company, you should prepare a one-page introduction or some knowledge, general knowledge about that company, that who is the CEO, when was the company established, what are the major projects, and what are some of its branches, how many people are working in that country. So some of these details you should always know before sitting for the interview. Let's assume your PC is not working, then how would you deal with it? So this is again a behavior kind of question, like what will you do in this kind of situation? So you can always say that I will try first of all to fix it from my end, I will search it on Google or something, like if there is a solution provided or not. If not, I will go to the IT team to get it correct. Do you have any backlogs? You should answer it very honestly. If you have any backlogs, just mention. If you had any backlogs that were clear, just say I do not have any backlogs. Are you able to locate? Just always answer yes for this question. Okay, so that's all for this video. These all were the questions that a triple E student can expect in his upcoming interview. And if you are also sitting for the interview of Wipro, just be prepared with all these questions. And to prepare for more such questions, you can check the playlist section in my channel. And thank you and all the best for your interview.